Sam, welcome in. We're gonna just keep playing this game. And yeah, I'm really excited. The season was transitioning slowly from autumn to winter. Gil said he would let me go back to the church after he's done fulfilling his goal. But when? How much longer do I have to wait? I asked Gil a number of times before, but his answer was always the same. That he couldn't share the family's plan with me. I suppose that makes sense. Are you off today, Sam? Or do you, just chilling at work? Let me take a drink of water. They weren't going to just do nothing. I knew something was happening. Hey, nice, how was work going? But they wouldn't tell me what it was. I understood why, but it was still bothering me. Another morning arrived in the Visconti manor. I sighed and slowly got myself up from bed. I wonder if I'll see Nick today. Even if we don't have the time to talk, just seeing him around would be nice. Yesterday, I felt I had finally gotten closer to him again. I suppose I should thank Gil for setting all that up for me. I mean, that was kind of ingenious and also not. Kind of like you trapped him. The memory of Gil's ridiculous scheme came rushing back. That was far too excessive. Even if it was a setup, I still feel bad for what Nick had to go through. I got dressed as I thought about what happened yesterday. Okay. Well, that's good, I think. Once I was ready, I opened the door to step into the hallway when... Hey, it's Nick. Or Nico. Or whatever. One day I'll pick how I want to say his name. I suddenly saw him passing by outside my door. He looked at me and smiled a little. Buongiorno. The weather looks nice today. Oh, you're right. And our conversation ended. Well, I suppose the morning greeting should be this short. If only we could talk a bit more. It took long enough to finally mend things too. Oh, okay, then yeah, that's good. Oh, I found a lot of interesting things in the kitchen here. They have ingredients and seasoning that I've never seen before. I spoke with Gil, and he said that he imports the things he likes from overseas. Gil said he liked American pizza. Not only were the toppings different, but even the dough wasn't the same as in Forlorn. It seems like I got his attention. His response wasn't a simple reaction. I could tell he was actually listening, and even open to conversation. Oh, well, that's good at least. He's not completely ignoring us. I was thrilled that we continued speaking until we arrived at the lounge. After you. Thank you. Nicola opened the door for me very naturally and escorted me in. I knew it was just something he did as a gentleman, but even that made me happy. Huh? I'm going to make myself an espresso so I can make your cafe latte as well. Thank you. You seem to be in a good mood. I remember when you used to make them for me before. It felt a little nostalgic. Oh, but this is something you normally do for others, right? Mine would just be one of them. Even so, I'm really happy that you would spare any time for me. He looks so surprised. His eyes widened in surprise, hearing my appreciation. Are you trying to flirt with me? Huh? Nick then turned around to go prepare the coffee. I stared blankly at his back as he left. His attitude seems to have changed from before. He was still acting as a gentleman, escorting me and preparing coffee for me. I won't speak to you as nicely as before. Is that fine? He was right that he wasn't speaking to me in a sweet way anymore. But I wasn't sure that deep down his kindness hadn't changed a bit. I suppose he's just a little strange. His thoughtfulness was just as part of him as his personality. Just thinking about it made Nikolai seem cuter than ever. Here you go, with plenty of sugar and milk. Just the way you like it, right? Absolutely. Thank you, Nikolai. I'm very happy. Well, next time I'd appreciate it if you'd tone it down a notch or two. Nikolai looked away a bit, then sipped his espresso. I looked at him, studying his face. Nikolai? I decided to ask him for a special favor. Oh, what's the favor? I want to know. Won't you tell me? It was late at night when I suddenly heard a knock on my door. You came! Well, you did say I could come late at night. Are you sure I'm not bothering you? No, not at all. I was thinking you wouldn't be able to make it tonight, so I'm happy that you did. You asked me here for a reason, right? Inviting someone into your bedroom at night begs the question. Oh no! That's not why I called you. Don't you remember what I said this morning? Do you mind if I ask you a favor? What is it? I want to talk with you more. I know you're busy, so if you have any time to spare, that would be great. The only spare time I have is late at night. Is that okay with you? Why, yes, any time at night is fine, so please come by. Understood. I invited him over so that we could talk. Nikolai, however, shrugged and sighed. Most girls who ask me to chat just use it as an excuse for another motive. Nikolai chuckled jokingly. I wasn't sure what to say. Oh, I understand. I knew you were serious about talking. You can rest assured that I didn't come here for nefarious purposes. Nefarious. Oh, did you want me to? The blushing on your face says so. Huh? Not at all! Oh, come now. I'm just joking. You're being pretty mean tonight. I'm spending my spare time with you, so that at least you can do is give me some leeway. Well, I suppose. I want to say he's mean. He's definitely teasing, but not mean. I settled down and turned toward him. Thank you, Nikolai, for making time for me like this. You're very welcome. It may not seem like much, but the smile on his face meant so much to me. There's a lot I wanted to talk to you about. The people here are really nice and treat me very well, but I'm still a bit anxious around them and scared sometimes too. We're all the same in the Mafia, though. Nikolai calmly looked at me and spoke with some edge to his voice. You should have kept your distance from me too, while you still had the chance. Sure, you're in the Mafia, but you're still a person, Nikolai liked to me. Oh. He was looking at me with a puzzled look on his face. I know that sounds strange, but... You aren't scared of me? I mean, I think you could kill me. No, you do scare me at times. I know you're capable of harming others for the sake of your family. I was terrified when I saw him torture one of his own back in the underground cell. But you're not just scary. Nikolai, there's so much more to you than that. I had so many thoughts and feelings toward him that words weren't enough to describe it. Well, as long as you know that I'm someone to be afraid of. Nikolai smiled bitterly, then sighed in a weary way. It is my responsibility for bringing you over here. So if you'd like, I'll try and make time to talk with you like this again. Thank you. I know it's too much trouble, but I really appreciate it. Well, I do feel bad for being too cold toward you when we first got here. Really? What Gil told me crossed my mind. Come to think of it, Gil mentioned that you probably felt bad for treating me the way you did. That's true. It did feel terrible. Did it? Did it really? I lied to you, abused you, and later tried to put distance between us. I could tell he was speaking to himself with scorn. I looked at Nikolai. Save. I can't say, I don't think, oh, I can. I could tell that he was speaking to his corner. I looked at Nikolai. What's he saying? Oh, you're not a good liar? I mean, he's a pretty convincing liar in my opinion, I think. Why are you talking with me like this? Even with what happened yesterday, I thought you were going to keep ignoring me. He smiled with a troubled look on his face. It was just that you were a lot more stubborn than I thought. Also, I guess I still have a sliver of conscience, even as a mobster. Conscious? Mind you, I think it's a two-way street when it comes to being fooled. I should have been able to lie to you without any remorse. Oh, okay, so that's what... Okay. But you... How do I word this? You're surprisingly sharp despite that happy-go-lucky look on your face. It just scares me seeing how you act like a child and an adult at the same time. I keep ignoring you, but you still keep at it. I just started feeling guilty just looking at you. What is this scary-looking game? This is Piofiore. It is an otome ritual novel romance game. I listened carefully to his words and thought about what he said about me. What is it? You said I act like a child and adult, and then that I'm happy-go-lucky, but I'm not sure how to react to that. I'm complimenting you, sort of. That, like, blended really well with the music in a weird way. Nicola sighed, then tapped his chest with his thumb. I hate to say this, but my heart is telling me that those things are what make you special. Seeing his smile was confusing me. Should I be blushing, happy? I tried to calm myself down, feeling my heart racing even faster. Thanks for the lyric, I appreciate it! It always bewildered me for as long as I stayed at the Felzone Manor. Why you were so kind to me. So when I learned that you were only treating me kindly to use me, it actually cleared the doubt from my mind. Wait a second. You do know that most people would be upset about what I did. I suppose, if the situation were different, I may have been, too. But I've had far too much on my mind since coming here, so it took me all I had to simply try and close the gap between Nikolai and myself. You didn't curse or hate or despise me, not even a little? It was strangely painful, knowing you were putting distance between us, but hating you because of it didn't really cross my mind at all. Nikolai frowned and looked at me as if I were some mysterious creature. Oh, and even if you were deceiving me, I don't believe all of it was deception. At least that's how I feel. You're right. Bad at lying. Not everything I said was a lie, but, well then, you shouldn't feel bad about what you did or what happened. Nicola rubbed his forehead with his fingers and was silent. Soon he sighed and muttered quietly. You're surprisingly forgiving. I have to say, I don't really see that all that too often. I think that's a wonderful compliment. Thank you. Hey, your girl Michi, how are you? Oh, boop. Hit the wrong button. So now it's your turn. Is there anything you want to talk about? Let me see. Actually, if I can ask again, why did you betray the Felzone family? Why are you sighing? Oh, of course! Listen carefully, Katie. I'm fine with you being honest with me. But did you think you'd get a straight answer to this question? No, I did not. I don't know why I asked. He was right. The question may have been asking for too much. Betrayals are a life or death matter, so I can't really answer your question. Do you understand? You do understand, don't you? I mean, yes. Yes, and I'm sorry I asked. I lowered my head apologetically, to which he calmly asked me a question. Did you like being with the Falzone? Huh? I raised my head and blinked, bewildered by his sudden question. Before I knew it, I nodded somewhat hesitantly in response. Yes, everyone there was very kind to me. Well, maybe they were only treating me well because I had some value to the family, but that's not true. You know how the church wants you in the procession? Well, only a select few knew about it, Dante and myself to be exact. Julia, Leo, and everyone else, of course, didn't know, so their kindness was genuine and from the heart. That only makes me want to go back there even more. Oh, that's a sad look. Oh, maybe it's a glitch in my system. Like a code error glitch? That's so weird. The Falzone prioritizes their bloodline, so sensitive information is kept secret. Dante is very strict about keeping secrets. I've had that happen to me before with streams, like where I go in and like it'll say that I was playing a game that I wasn't. I was like, what is that? Does that mean he only trusted you? Perhaps, but I tarnished his name as boss with my betrayal. Oh, sorry about that. I guess talking about Dante without him around isn't fair. I noticed something was on his mind. Okay, gotta save again. I'm wondering if I should use a strategy guide for this game. Whatever. Well, I wanted to hear more, if you don't mind. Huh? I smiled at the look of surprise on his face. I thought I said before that I want to know more about you. That means I want to hear more about anything and everything. I can't talk much about my responsibilities back at the Falzones. How about when you were little then? I spoke about it once before. After a brief pause, Nicola nodded. He paused again and then finally spoke. Don't tell Dante, okay? Of course. Oh, is this where they got kidnapped? Dante's mother passed away, but Dante didn't shed a single tear. Even as a child, I thought that was odd, so I talked to Dante after the funeral. Why didn't you cry back there? Aren't you sad your mother's gone? I'm sure it's okay to cry, you know. That is why we have funerals, after all. Don't worry, there's no one else around. I think for grief, some people process it differently and it sometimes takes time. He kept silent for a while, but soon tears started to flow from his eyes. Aww! I'm a Falzone. Oh, hold on. Need to do it. I shouldn't cry, even if I am sad. I'm not supposed to cry. Seeing him trying his best to hold back his tears made me realize Dante is all alone. He couldn't show any weakness as the next boss to be. He's still so small, too. Poor kiddo. Dante. What is it? I'm older than you, and we're family. I don't have any brothers, so... What? Well... Think of me as your older brother. You can rely on me. Oh! Oh, that makes what he did so much sadder. Say something, will you? You're the same Nicola I've always known. Calling you brother is... Hey, don't say it. A bit embarrassing, so I'll call you what I usually do. But I've always wanted to be better friends with you. You know so much that I don't. You think I'm the type to leave a kid like that alone? Dante's father was very strict, so someone had to support him. And then you left. You betrayed him, and you turned your back on him. Ah! Or at least that's what I thought, although what I'm doing now is a far cry from supporting him. Unless he's supporting him in a weird, roundabout way. Why are you crying? His expression grew concerned as he noticed tears welling up in my eyes. I was just thinking about something. Dante had been burdened from childhood by his position as heir to the family. I could only imagine how comforted he was when Nikolai told him that. Nikolai must have supported Dante from that day forward. He suddenly extended an arm out. His fingers gently wiped the tears from my eyes. Thank you, Kitty. I didn't do anything. You cried for Dante, and that's worth my thanks. I closed my eyes to fight the tears. Nicola must still consider Dante someone dear to him. He wouldn't show an expression like this if he hated Dante. If so, then why? I think he has a secret. I got a secret. I'ma keep it. I couldn't seem to figure it out. Memory. Ooh, a side story. I haven't reminisced like this in years. I have no clue why I even spoke to her about it. Come to think about it, there's one thing I didn't tell Katie about. Dante, I think I said it before. You can cry if you want. There's no one around here. Dante? Something wasn't quite the same with Dante. I found out that next day why he was like that. Gonna told me that Dante had been scolded quite badly by his father that day. I can't take it anymore. I want to leave. I don't want to be in the mafia. Oh. He behaved as... Oh, is he doing it because Dante doesn't want to be in the mafia and he wants to help Dante be free? He behaved as a perfect heir to the family. Name from such a young age. I could only imagine what life was like, trying to live up to everyone's expectations. I shoved the memory to the back of my mind as I headed back to my room. I still have a lot of things to do to fulfill my mission. Oh, snap! Why did Nicola betray the Falzone family? Why did he betray Dante? The night quietly deepened as I pondered over my unanswered questions. A few days later, Gil came to me after dinner. Looks like we've got a lead on the killings. What is it? Nothing new, but we're going to have a summit with all the families. The Ballorn Mafia heads were coming together. I could tell very quickly that it must be a critically urgent matter. I'm thinking of having both of you attend the meeting. Huh, me? Fine by me. Nicola answered with a straight face, but I could tell the idea wasn't sitting well with him. So why is she coming along? He's right, why me? I'd just be in the way. I want a baked potato, I'm hungry. Oh, just to show face. I need to show the other two that the Visconti has the advantage with you on our side. How would I be an advantage to you? Hey, the Falzone and the Laoshu both want you in the possession. You'd be my ace in hand when I'd actually use you in another matter. But it's only for the bosses, right? I'm not sure I really should be there. Are you scared? Well, even if you are, I'm going to need you to tough it out. He looks apologetic and not apologetic all at the same time. We're protecting you after all. Why don't we work together and help each other? We're protecting you because you're protecting me because Nick kidnapped me. I had no choice in this matter. And now you're blackmailing me. Gil's request didn't make sense. He was asking me to help, but it was quite clear that I didn't have a choice. I think the killings are being carried out by a third party outside the Mafia. If so, then it's really no time to be squabbling amongst ourselves. If we start fighting each other, the civilians are going to get caught in the crossfire. We're not that bloodthirsty. I want to avoid casualties as much as possible. Hey, Wolf, how are you? Gil looked at me sternly and pleaded in a serious tone. Please, you have to help. For Ballorn. I mean, I really don't have a say in the matter. I want to avoid casualties too. I like that triangle effect. They waited for me to continue. I took a deep breath and spoke with resolve. I'm not sure how much I can really help by being there, but if it's to help make the meeting a success, I'll go for the sake of Ballorn. Gil had a satisfied grin on his face and laughed with a high spirit. I don't like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a moment? After dinner, I managed to catch Nikolai before he returned to his room. Sure, what is it? About the meeting. Are you really going to go too? Of course. Isn't there an option for you not to go? I figured you'd be lonely without me around, my dear kitty. Stop joking, I'm serious. Because... it'll be dangerous? I just thought things would be awkward. Awkward? Dante would attend, right? I figured you might not want to see him. When Gil... Wait, did I choose the right one? Oh, no. I wanted to do It'd Be Dangerous. My bad. Selected the wrong answer. Oh, that's good. Is it dangerous for you to appear in front of Dante? My concern stems from what Nicola himself mentioned to before. In any case, I'm a traitor. I'll be clipped sooner or later. Dante may do it as the Falzone's boss, or maybe someone in the Visconti will lay their hands on me. Hey, Dragon, how are you? Who be bullying my bug bud? Oh, that's cute. Nikolai, this guy right here. At the very least, he wouldn't try to attack me at the meeting. After all, these meetings are held under a strict no-arm rule by Mafia oath. I guess I'm worrying too much. Well, I can't say it's completely safe. There are ways and means. That aside, you should be worried about yourself. Oh. And with that, Nick turned around and took his leave. That idiot! Who voices Roberto? This voice sounds so... I need to look it up. I unleashed my anger with a swift kick to the desk. Hey, Robbie, watch it. Whose desk do you think that is? Marco, I thought you already left. Same to you. So, you got yelled at by the chief, eh? What the hell did you do this time? All I did was suggest we do a full sweep of the Mafia residence. Oh, well, I can see why he yelled at you. But we need to act now or else... Roberto, you suggested that because of the girl, right? If so, you don't need to worry about her. The Falzone and the Visconti aren't serial killers. They don't go around whacking civilians. I frowned. Hearing Marco try to console me was with baseless reassurance. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're calming down. I'm doing alright. I'm actually really, really hungry. They're dirty scoundrels and thieves. They'd happily kill a sister of the church. I don't think they would. Oh, come on now. You can't be... She's in danger just by being next to Nikolai. That man betrayed his own family. She's bound to be his next victim. Wow. I think Roberto needs to take a chill pill. The chief frowned at my suggestion earlier. I knew he wouldn't take that well, especially with how rooted the Mafia was in the town. Ah! Aside from my suggestion being too revolutionary, the other reason I could think of was... What's with the sexy saxophone? Oh! I don't know. In relation to the death of the Falzone family here in our cell, it seems the chief was scared of potential ramifications from that death. Repercussions. Chief, did you have a chance to look through my report? Chief, your report is beyond reason. I can't allow it. I disagree. With the right moves, we can eliminate the Barlon Mafia, and the chief interrupted me with a glare. The Falzone Dominic died in our cell. That's something that should never have happened. The Falzone isn't happy about it, and making amends is taking up too much time. We should be able to offend those loosely criminals as... Oh, man. We're also getting hounded by Gerald Paris. He's livid that we've smeared his reputation with these killings. And it's all your fault. You said to bring the Falzone's Cardigan here on petty charges. You then force him to accept whatever evidence you had to stamp out the Falzone. Roberto, you suggested that, and look at the results. There's no way we can get a dead man to support any evidence. The evidence you brought against him was suspect to begin with. Like I said, we need to take action in order to bring... Just shut up already. You may be an elite on the track to stardom, but your suggestion put us in the hot seat with every damn person in this town. What a letdown. Now get the hell out of here. Oh my gosh! Coffee Talk is on my list of games to play. Please, if I remember. If not, try to remind me. Or if I see the notification, I'll come in. That's a game that I've been wanting to check out. The police here are pure scum. The absolute bottom of the barrel. I can't believe he's whimpering in fear from the death of one lousy criminal. I slammed my fist into the desk, but my anger didn't dissipate. You know, you should go home and rest already. Nothing good comes from stress. Just wait until the opportunity comes to take action. I didn't take notice of Marco's words or his departure from the room. First, the Visconti need to be dealt with. I need to find incriminating evidence to use against them. If I have to, I'll go myself and... That's right. Why didn't I think of it earlier? Not a single one of these hoodlums has the sense of justice that I do. If so, I should go do it myself. Who needs their help? I'll do what I need to do, just like before. I'm the only one who can serve justice. Wow, dude, not a good stance to take. That's dangerous. Sure, I'm worried, but I was more worried about him, so much so that it was all-consuming. The day of the meeting finally arrived. It feels so tense here. Well, each family has their members surrounding the area, you know? Amidst the pressing silence, we walked towards the casino entrance. No, you know what? You know what's so good about Valentine's Day? Is the day after, where all the chocolate goes on discount. I began to chat casually in an attempt to stave off the surmounting tension. I used to walk through the streets here because the church was close by, but I don't know. I guess Valentine's Day doesn't bother me as much as I used to anymore, because although I am a single bug with tons of 2D husbandos, I'm really content with life right now, kind of. I guess I'm content being single. Do I desire to be in a relationship? Yeah. One day, and it'll happen in God's timing. I don't want that to be like the sole focus of my existence. Oh, it took me a hot minute to get here, Dragon. If you had talked to me like even like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I think I would have given you a different answer about how like I was so discontent in being single. And now I'm just like, it's not the end of the world. I don't have a significant other to worry about. I don't have to try to plan dates or plan going out or plan going to his family's house for holidays or have him come over to my house for holidays or how to work holidays. I don't have to worry about like this or that. So like being single and being in a relationship, they each present their own challenges, right? At least in my opinion. It's like any relationship. So like right now I'm really content because I'm like, I'm going back to school this fall. You know, I'm taking some classes online. I'm working a full-time job. I have a hard enough time making time to spend with my family. I don't know how hard it would be to make time for my family and a significant other, right now. So yeah, like there's pros and cons to both in my opinion. I used to walk through the streets here because the church was close by, but I never thought I'd actually go inside the casino one day. Most of the patrons here are tourists. The Falzman family doesn't dabble in gambling, so I've never been here for that purpose either. But that doesn't mean I don't get lonely sometimes, because I definitely do. It quelled my anxiety to hear him respond just as casually. We'll go in from the back and to the second floor. The meeting's going to be held in the private room. We followed Gil, who was taking the lead. Nikolai was walking alongside me at my pace. Well, I'm glad he didn't leave me. This casino is operated by the government, so no one family has leverage here. A word meaning director, Italian. Here does offer us help, and we borrow the place in emergencies. Come to think of it, I recalled seeing guards around the casino on Sundays. I always thought that meant an important person was visiting. It was probably us using the place, but there are some days that VIPs do come. Hey, come on! That'll be fun. I never expected it to be used in this way. We finally arrived in front of the doors leading into the room. The heavy doors slowly opened, beckoning us inside. The mood in here is... There in my room was... Tomorrow, Quirky, Bug, and I are doing a Bible study stream at 10 a.m. And then we have plans with our siblings later. Dante. Gil called out to Dante, who was looking quite irritated. What's with that face, Dante? You still hate casinos? Gambling defiles the pride of the men of honor. If I had the choice, I wouldn't set foot in here. Dante looked beyond Gil. He seemed to be looking at Nikolai. Dante's expression didn't change, and neither did Nikolai's. They both must feel uneasy. I was sure they were feeling upset deep down. I looked around the room, as I thought, and suddenly my gaze fell upon Dante. Oh. I bowed my head to say hello to him, since it would be strange not to. You seem to be doing well. Yes, I'm doing fine, somehow. I brought someone who wished to speak to you. Huh? The man hesitantly appeared from behind Dante. I came because I wanted to apologize to you in person. Ooh, I hear Spicy Wolf is a good anime. Please do forgive me. He was the person who tried to kill me with his when his family was held hostage by the last shoe. Are you okay? The boss saved my family from the last shoe. Then, are they safe? Yes. They're someplace safe for now, and far away. That's good to hear. It did feel strange talking to him like this. I was even a little scared seeing him, but hearing that his family was safe made me sigh with relief. So I'm back with the family and have returned to my usual duties. I made an oath never to betray the boss again. I'm going to atone for my sins. He spoke boldly and with resolve. Then he scratched his cheek a little. And, are you alright? Me? I know I don't have the right to ask, but I was just worried about you. After all, you did save my life. Thank you for thinking about me. I'm doing just fine. They're treating me quite well. After hearing my words, he began glaring at Nicola. So why is the person who denounced my betrayal standing over there? I'll leave that to your imagination. I have no obligation to tell you. Nikolai chuckled and stared coldly at him. Nikolai's reply riled the man up, who spoke in an aggravated voice. What in the hell are you thinking? You said it yourself. Betrayals aren't tolerated. After that high and mighty speech you gave me, you get to walk free? Looks like I made myself an enemy. What do you expect? You do know I saved your life, right? Or would you have preferred that I actually killed you that night? What, you... Stop. Dante calmly commanded his irate soldier to halt. Oh gosh, my back really hurts. I'm sure it's from laying in this pose for so long. He shut his mouth, but I could tell his anger was still swelling inside. His eyes burned with hatred. Come to think of it, What I saw back then was so shocking that I didn't have a firm grasp on things. But when I thought back on it... She said, what about him? You want him clipped? Well, he may have some information that we don't have yet. Leo, you mind patching him up so that he doesn't die before we get more intel? Nicola actually made an excuse to keep him alive. I was then that I felt a cold air against the back of my neck. I quickly turned around to see a man walking into the room. Yang! It looks like I've kept you all waiting. Despite his apologetic tone, he had an eerie smile on his face. It was clear this man wasn't normal. I had never seen him before, but somehow I knew who he was. Exotic attire and an aura of prominence. He was the Lao Shu's leader, Yang. Late as usual, Yang. You were late too. Only I arrived on time. I thought men who were particular of the time were frowned upon in this country. He took his seat at the table. Yang suddenly began the conversation with a provocative tone. It's been a while since we all met, though I personally see no value in doing so. Frankly, I have no trust in the Falzone or the Visconti. You're making it sound like we did something to you. I heard a rumor. The Falzone's underboss turned on his family and went to the Visconti. How disappointing. I suppose the Falzone's boss lacks the power to keep his men together. You're free to be as disappointed as you like. I have no interest in pleasing you. You work in the same town, yet we all suffer from distrust. Quite the problem, isn't it? Yang continued to try and provoke them. He then looked at Gil. I thought I misheard from when I heard that the Visconti accepted Cisco into their fold. Once a traitor and all that. Foolish is a nice way of describing what you've done. Call it head hunting. I hope you know what that word means. Nicola is a talented guy. The Visconti accepts any and all who can demonstrate value to our family. I can only hope it goes well. I'll accept your good wishes, but I'd like to end this conversation. I'm the head of the Visconti, so I'll do as I please when it comes to my family. Well then, what kind of excuse could you conjure up in relation to her? You all know who the church's Bishop Joseph von Roseberg is, don't you? His Excellency has asked the Lao Shu to take a special young lady into custody. Special? Is he referring to what Nikolai said? But I thought the Lao Shu wanted to sell me to the church. How His Excellency must suffer, to know she must live in this mafia-infested town. So, I want to take her far from such danger when the Falzone... So I don't believe you. That's not what happened. Oh? Yang was staring at me with his golden eyes. I was too late for me to take back what I said. I tried to keep up a strong front and looked straight back at him. The Falzone family saved me and my friend from the Lao Shu attacked us. Attacked is such a strong word. Are you saying that didn't happen? Nikolai spoke in a harsh tone. Yang shook his head. We have the hardest time adapting to the fine mannerisms of this country. I suppose we were unintentionally rough back then. Unintentionally, with the injuries Elena had to bear? Yang's unapologetic attitude was getting on my nerves. But now, it looks like the girl is with the Visconti and not the Falzone. Can I assume you two had a deal in place for that to have happened? That's impossible. Gil blatantly denied Yang's allegation. There's no way the Falzone family would work with the Visconti, especially considering how different our philosophies are. Commissioner, I'm scorning the casino, but the clap of my cheek keeps alerting to... However, I do have my suspicions of the Visconti at present. She was our guest, but was later abducted when someone betrayed us. The Visconti not only took the person in, but also hasn't returned our guests to us. One might see this as a declaration of war against the Falzone. Falzone, I have an idea. Why don't I take her while you two settle your disagreement? Please don't leave me with Yang. I'm not ready for him yet. Like, oof. Dante's brows twitched. It was clear that he was irate at Yang, but Yang continued to smile eerily. Berlone isn't as safe as it was before, but with all these bodies being found, handing her over to Bishop Roseberg is the best way to ensure her safety. I don't think I'd make it to Bishop Roseberg. As a maiden of the church, being in such a company would be a great honor. Yang, that's... Silence. You have no speaking rights here. Don't tell me the Visconti is holding her down by force. If so, the Lashu will move to action to take custody of her. Sansa, she isn't locked up in some room or anything. She's free to do what she wants. No, I'm not! You liar! He is so lying. Like, I cannot do what I want. I could tell everyone in the room was looking at me now. Oh boy. Save. Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. We're gonna strategy guide this to see what the right answer is. I know I'm off the mark already with some of them. But oh, speaking of, while I get this up, I have a desk calendar, right? And I finally put it up. Thankfully, it's February, so I remember not too late. But oh, okay. So my thought was right. Okay, cool. But I couldn't figure out how to put it up at first. Senior, I appreciate your concern, but I would like to stay with the Visconti and remain in Berlorn. And may I ask the reason why? Yummy food? Well, I'm not sure how important I am to the church, but if I am someone special to them, they would come to me, wouldn't they? I don't understand why they would ask someone else to take custody of me on their behalf. Ah, smart girl. I'd rather not leave town without a firm understanding of the situation. That should make sense, right? Fine, the Falzone will honor her decision. I mean, I'd rather go back to the Falzones if I had a choice. Thank you, Dante. Fair point. Fair enough. I can't deny your reasoning. Yang narrowed his eyes and grinned. It seemed like he was taking interest in me. Anyway, the reason we're here is to discuss a more important subject. So let's get down to it. Nikolai, would you escort her outside? Understood. Nikolai nodded, taking me by the shoulders and leading us to the door. That was something. Nikolai mumbled in awe as we walked down the hallway. You didn't flinch at all, despite being surrounded by all the bosses. I was scared the whole time, but I needed to make a statement. I looked down at my feet and laughed, thinking about what I just went through. Look, my legs are still shaking. I probably couldn't have left the room without your help. Trust me, you've outdone yourself. I didn't expect Nikolai to praise me. It felt a bit strange. And thank you. The meeting is finally underway because you stood your ground. If you didn't, the meeting may have ended right then and there. It's good to know I helped. I hope they reach some kind of resolution. I don't want to hear of any more deaths in Berlorn. I suppose it's all up to the outcome of the meeting. Yes, and that'll be up to Gilbert now. I have to admit, I'm surprised that you stated so firmly that you wanted to stay with Visconti. I bet she wants to stay because Nick is there and she's in love. Well, it's not like I I could have gone back to the church, even if I asked. This is true. You could not have. They would not have let you leave. Oh, this is only 8 chapters. Nice. Wow, there are a lot of bad endings. Even asking to be taken into the church's custody would have made sense since you're a member of the church. There was a number of reasons I would rather stay with them. I don't trust the Lao Shu. Yang asked me for my thoughts, but they were the ones who first tried to abduct me by force. Also, I know this may sound odd coming from me, but I'm not sure I can trust Bishop Roseberg if he's working with the Lao Shu. But the Visconti is keeping you in custody only because they see some value in having you in their possession. Even so, Dante the Falzone didn't tell me what was going on. In comparison, I feel like the Visconti was more forthcoming in telling me everything. I'd rather be in the know than be left in the dark, being used for the sake of being used. And because Nicola is with the Visconti now. Despite being branded as a traitor, he was still someone I could trust. Nikolai? About the person Dante brought with him. You mean the guy I tortured? I thought you were a terrible person back then. It was shocking to see how ruthless you could be. I just couldn't get my mind straight seeing the violence played out in front of me. But now that I look back, you had to punish him because he broke the family's rules. Yet you wanted to find another way so that you didn't have to kill him. At least that's what I think. That's why he cut his ear off instead, to find a reason to avoid killing him. You're overthinking things. I don't think she is. He tortured his fate. I don't know about that. Well, some of these endings are not romantical at all. I've gotten like 2 of them, I think, and they ended in death. Like in one, Nick shot her. I don't remember the other one, but it wasn't good. He turned his face away from me. I bet. Dante knew about that too. Too soft. He said that, not about what happened, but rather about Nikolai himself. They knew each other to the very core. I could finally see how they worked together. I then looked toward the closed door. I could only hope for the best to happen.